Hello, everybody. This is Terry Kawaii, and we're back with more My Girlfriend is a Mermaid. We are starting right where we left off, so let's continue. Eon Coma. I had no idea that there were people with the last name Coma in this country until I met Eon. Of course, I teased her for it by calling her Begoma, like the traditional tops that she would then proceed to hit me. She's a top? Okay, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing the names right. If you guys know how to pronounce it, I would be more than happy if you commented how to so I can say it properly. The day we first met, I took on physical attacks to a egregious degree, and I ran for dear life. Even if I preserved after and won, I couldn't very well tell my parents. Yes, the girl next door beat me up, nor could I tell anybody else about what happened. Then, the morning of the following day, I met Eon by the river, and she dabs my swollen face in ointment that she brought from her house. She said that she didn't know how to make friends with boys around her age, so she slugs them instead. This was in no way planned, but this is pretty much how Eon and me got to be on good terms. I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that would later develop into her slugging me with her tail, though. The sound of coursing waterfall passes through my eardrums, stimulating my very bones. It's a wonder of nature. It really does feel like they're tickling my eardrums. Man, it's really tickling me. I open my eyes and raise myself up. A beautiful aquatic harmony enters my eardrums. There's a bunch of water lodged in my ears. God, the heck? I pick up my glasses lying on the ground by my side, and I take a look at my surroundings. Oh, she was crying. Eon is clinging tight by my side. She's half in tears. She's positively soaked by her wonderfully developed breasts and now see-through clothes. Under that, Eon's set of ivory white thighs come from her skirt-covered lower body. Thighs? Huh? I frantically rub my eyes and look at Eon once again. There's her Masu salmon tail wagging around. Yeah, right. Like there'd be a pair of ivory white thighs there. Nevertheless, she has quite the set of fins. Maybe it's because of the sunlight, but her face is flushed red. Naturally, yes, I am. What the heck? She's acting like I died. Eon's been staring at me like she's looking at a person who got swallowed by a whirlpool caused by a raging waterfall, got water in his lungs, and fell into an unconscious state. Also, in those eyes, I feel like I see something to the akin of tears there. Perhaps it's the same kind of phenomenon that things sea turtles do. No, a sea turtle shedding tears is because of salt content. We're in fresh water, and Eon isn't a sea turtle either, so that's not possible. In that case, there's only one conclusion I can derive from this. Have you been crying? She sure has, no doubt about it. I can say that with confidence. She had been crying this whole time. Thinking of the situation as it stands with Eon with tears in her eyes, and me with water lodged in my ears, I can deduce that I've come back to life after almost drowning to death. Also, who was the one that saved me from drowning? Of course she did. It must have been her. She's the person who saved my life. Well, the fish that saved it. whatever she is, since she helped save my life, I feel indebted to say that I have to thank her for everything I do in my life from here on out. Looking back, I can see this village famous and majestic waterfall. Ever since I was a kid, I've been warned so many times that my ears want to drop off. Getting caught in one of those whirlpools is big trouble. So I fell into there and Eon came and rescued me, huh? What do I do? To think that a mermaid would save my life in a river? To say that's unimaginable would be a gross understatement. Should I deal with this scientifically? Or maybe I should deal with this legally? First things first. I bow my head. I'm not sure what my expression should be in this sort of situation. Then what should I do? You may have saved my life, but you're being selfish, unreasonable even. You see, this is why mermaids... wait. I don't know enough about mermaids to say this is why mermaids are anything. My ears hurt, yeah. No. Eon looked extremely apologetic. How come? You're the one who helped save me, aren't you? Some water lodged in my ear isn't a big deal. Something like that isn't that big of a blow to a human, so quit worrying about it. Well, if you're going to keep being depressed like that in spite of you saving me from drowning, then I'm going to be at a loss as to what to do myself. Oh no. Huh? Oh no. Eon jumps into the water and proceeds to sink. Then... She's not coming up. She's not coming up. Not coming up. Hey, wait I dive into the water and save Eon from her suicide plans. What in the world is she thinking? Oh. Come on, don't cry. You plan on diving in again? The mermaid flounders around in my arms. It seems that she wasn't seriously trying to kill herself. Upon closer thought, it was just a fish diving into water, wasn't it? I wonder why I thought she was in peril. This has ended up being a situation of me forcibly embracing a girl who doesn't like it? Maybe it's because I'm in the water now, but my nerves are settled, and clinging to her like this feels really good. Don't tell me she's going to try and sue her childhood friend, right? I'm at an age where legal measures are way scarier than scientific ones. Huh? She calmed herself down? Phew. I emerged from the river with Eon in my arms, sitting her down on the rocky patch, after which I sit with her back to back. A short stint of silence. I'm at a loss as to what I should be saying, and I instead just sit there, spacing out. The sound of the crashing waterfall is music to my ears, so I fell into that big waterfall before. If it weren't so deep, I probably would have collided against somewhere down there in a bit of the dust. And thinking about it, I may have dropped in by accident, but Eon dove into the waterfall and on her own come to save me. That sort of moves me on the inside, and I turn around to see Eon win. Oh. Our eyes meet. For whatever reason, her face is slightly flushed and she's looking straight at me. The stare down commences. Eon does nothing but stare right at me. She brings her face closer as she does. Now that I have a good look at them, those gale-like fins of hers are really pretty. So pretty that they could pass off as pieces of jewelry. They reflect the sun, sparkling like the rainbow. So pretty. Eon proceeds to dunk her head into the water with the force of the storm. Yep, that's a win for me. I take my victory pose and... Or at least I'm about to stand up and do just that, but I get tackled by her tail and knocked down. Why though? Why won't you admit defeat? She's still staring at me. Why does it feel like I'm in the wrong here? Come on. You're trying to challenge me one more time? That leads us to our second staring contest. Well, we'll run out of stuff to talk about, so this is a good cop out. So, as the day comes to a close, I've almost accomplished a great deed, second only to that, alas, Atlas himself. I hoist a giant mermaid upon my back and descend down the mountain. Yeah, right. What part of going down a mountain with a single girl rotting piggyback is a great deed? Explain yourself. Starting with any mechanism involved to piggyback that half-fish childhood friend of yours. Or at least, that's what I'd like to say here. But I'm glad that Eon, as a mermaid, is the length she is. Right now, Eon is riding my shoulders as her tail is coiled around my waist. And I have both hands gripped on the part that's wrapped around me. So as we descend more towards under the waterfall, she says that she has the urge that she wants to go back to her home, but... In other words, the giant mermaid has thus passed down her decision to leave the ravine she has been inhabiting this whole time and return to the human realm, leaving a note behind on the single chunk of stone. I don't know who the note is addressed to, but my guess is that it's reserved for the individual who dressed her in those strange clothes and provided for her this whole time. I swear, intentionally dressing a water-dwelling mermaid. Clothes that cling so tight when they're wet, I can't believe that such scientific perverts exist in this world. I feel like I'd get along with that person really well. Putting that aside, as expected from someone who spends all their time dipped in water, her clothes are mighty clean. I have to give it to whoever has been taking care of her, living underwater this whole time? No. If they so happen to be a man, then I've got to give him a good sock across the jaw. If they want Eon, then they'll have to go through me first. Feeling the same way a brother or dad would towards your childhood friend is a consequential function of being a man. Eon won't give me an answer as to when or how in the world she ended up as a mermaid. Maybe she'll simply tell me why in time, or maybe she'd rather not touch on the subject. But either way, I'm not sure. In any case, I'll leave the matter be. Besides that, why haven't you gone back home this entire time? I say in a tone akin to a teacher scolding a student, a tone that would make the person on receiving end want to apologize immediately. Giving it a try never hurt. Giving it a try, young one. No, young guppy. You can always scuttle your way back home with a smile on your face. So you've tried, right? Then again, if you ride the river all the way down, it eventually leads out onto the village, you know? She didn't know? Silence. Am I getting somewhere with her? She's afraid. Huh? The waterfall. I'm afraid of it. So that means she was afraid of that waterfall and wasn't able to get down? Are you telling me a huge mermaid like this can't overcome her fears? over gravitational acceleration? Quit fibbing. You jumped in not even a second ago.
あれはヒロトが危なかったから。
No. Huh? Her tail whips across my face. The moisture from her tail fogs up my glasses. Not sure if I should admit I've been liking that feeling or not. Anyway, is your house in the same old spot?
覚えてるの?
Well, yeah, it's right next to my house. Oh, wrong phrasing. I think I heard that your family moved someplace else once mine moved out or something. Eon's mouth goes agape for an instant and then... Youch! Her tail once again flips up, slapping me in the face. My crooked glasses end up back to normal. Never expected her to have such perfect control of her tail while riding on someone's back. It doesn't hurt, but it does feel weird. Almost like I'm getting kicked by a pair of feet for some reason. At this rate, I'm going to unlock some rather new sensations. Ah, that fishy smell is still here. I continue to carry Eon on my back down the mountain until...
ヒロト。
Hmm?
今、彼女、いるの?
Oh. What a sudden question. Eon covers her face up with my back, making her expression invisible. She is so cute. My childhood friend, who I've reconnected with after 10 years, is suddenly asking me if I have a girlfriend, which means... This means it has to. Yep, I've got it. If I just answer, nope, I don't have one, then... Ha 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 ha. So you don't have a girlfriend? I've been thinking that for the past 10 years. Ha 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 ha. Oh yeah, she's definitely setting me up to get teased. A high-level setup that only a childhood friend could manage, eh? Kudos, Eon. Kudos. Oh yeah, I've got one. That's right. I'm currently in a relationship with science. Oh yes. Fluid mechanics and organic molecule science are my lucky ladies. Well, biology and earth sciences are pretty far removed from my major, so maybe we're just friends. Yeah, I could tell he was some science fan, because he's always going on about science. I'm not telling a lie here. Phew. Anyways, I'm successfully out of that setup. For a little while, I simply walk without saying a word. The mountain path is almost at an end with the village in sight. The setting sun has been illuminating the mountain range for quite some time, but it has long since been replaced with a cloak of darkness. Night always comes early for the place in the countryside. My guess is because there are barely any houses around that are lit up. It assures me that I needn't worry about rumors spreading around about a young man walking around piggybacking a mermaid. Ah, boy, it's cold and I'm starving. I want to hurry and get home so I can get some grub. I've spent the whole day in a spirited frenzy with Eon that I've neglected eating anything, which is making my muscles yearn for some carbohydrates. Not only that, but I'm stuck with heavy labor, carrying this mermaid down the mountainside. I want to give up and get some shut-eye. To put it briefly, I wouldn't be surprised if I were to just pass out right now. I've got blisters on my feet now, I'm positive. Am I ever glad that I trained my body in after-school clubs? If I went straight home after school, I'd probably be a dead man right now. I bet she's freaking heavy. Somewhere along the way, Eon has dozed off with her arms wrapped around my neck. Her body has dried out and gotten pretty arid. It would seem that just because she turned into a fish doesn't mean that her body temperature has gotten lower in soup. And all this transpires. We're at my house. Oh God, we had left the house with the lights still on. Daytime in the country is so bright. that it's hard to tell whether the lights are on and are off. With some resentment for the huge hole left in the electric bill, I start shaking Eon awake. Not waking up, judging from how she's snoozing like that, my guess is that she's in a deep sleep. And judging from the temperature of the supple sensation against my back, I'm certain of it. Aren't fishes supposed to be polychilotherms? Organisms with varying body temperatures? Her lower body's all fish, but as for why has her general disposition stayed human, I have no means of finding that out. That is when I only see my house here. Eon's house should be right next to mine, but I see neither hide nor hair of it. There's just a vacant patch of land there. Apparently, Eon's family moved after I moved, so of course the possibility that they may have lost their house remains. But I've been told that they didn't move outside of the village. So where in the world did her parents end up going off to? Huh? Parents? Come to think of it, what are Eon's parents even like? There's no possible way that I can't remember any details of my childhood friend's parents, considering they lived right next door for the longest time. Ah, I remember Eon's father, I think. If memory serves, when Eon was a kid, if she would stay out playing late, her old man would suddenly come running up, taking her back home. As far as I recollect, she had an extremely doting dad. It wasn't long after I left for the city with my parents that I caught word that Eon's old man passed away, I think. That's right. That must be part of why Eon moved in the first place. I think. Oh, that's bad. I almost asked a pretty insensitive and hurtful question. Also, I think I remember hearing something about Eon's grandpa being a shaman. Though by the time me and Eon were living next door to one another, he had already passed away. Oh, so much death. That's sad. However, as for Eon's mother, I wonder why I can't remember anything about her. I was never told that she had died as well. I can't even bring up a mental image of Eon's mom. Did she really not leave any lasting impression on me at all? I can't even remember her face, let alone her occupation. Come on, brain cells. I know you're not the greatest, but try to get it together, will you? I'll just have to put them to work later on. Phew. Hey, wake up. Snoozing away. Not getting up. Your house isn't here. The casa is no casa. Still not getting up? Is my back really that comfortable to her? Seeing how she's sleeping with her two soft cushions pushing up against my club-tempered back, I'd say she's feeling pretty darn comfy. Sigh. I'd feel bad forcing her to awake from such a sound sleep. Anyway, I'll reserve the details for tomorrow morning. This whole day has felt like I've been trying to cram a bunch of massive files into my mental computer all at once. Besides, she's showing zero signs of waking up, and I'm totally exhausted. Honestly, if it weren't for the two supple sensations nipping at my back, I would have long since thrown in the towel. Anyhow, after considering the various facts, there's only one thing I should do now. I'll put her to bed in my house. Oh, well, that that woke her up. God, her tail hitting the back of my head. A critical hit, in fact. What in tarnation? I shout in protest. Oh, well, that's... He's back to sleep. Wake your butt up. Eon once again goes back to sleep. Please wake up, oh great mermaid. Dead to the world. I let out a huge sigh before looking up at the sky. Oh, it's so bright and vibrant. The moon, the stars, everything is nice and bright. Yeah, no need for any cluttered lights taking up the airspace like in the city. So many brilliant stars. I can't believe I'm able to see so many of these beautiful stars at one time, seeing as how I'd never ever be able to see them in the city. Too overwhelming. Might barf. That means I'd make a lousy astrologist. I go inside the house, lugging Eon on my back. I then go up to the second floor, the most spacious part of the house. I squeeze out the last bit of strength in me, carrying the oversized salmon upstairs. I proceed to throw Eon on the upstairs floor. Oh wow, he just threw her on the floor. And Maso wriggles around on the floor a little bit until...
カート邪魔脱ぐ
Oh no. Eon then proceeds to suddenly take off her skirt and toss it aside. No, that's reverse sexual harassment. Oh, right. Her lower hat is a fish. Crap. Eon rolls on the floor and is completely enters slumberland. I look at the clock hanging on the wall in order to check the mermaid's bedtime. 3 o'clock p.m.? Wait, that clock is totally busted, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Whatever. I guess I'll go to sleep too. Ooh, I'm getting things on lots of things unlocked. Look at me. From the darkness, accept me. From the darkness, something lays their eyes on me. Unless you accept us, we'll have died for you for nothing. I lift my head and peer into the darkness. These accursed words are passing through my ears, but I'm not feeling the slightest inkling of fear. That is because... Masu! A Masu? Masu! Sue, Sue! Get lost, Masu. Water gun. Masu! It's day 2 of my convalences in the countryside. I started off my morning with a fun dream of Masu. I think I'm starting to get what kind of condition my subconscious is right now. A fraudesque analysis of the fact would tell me that I am an ichthyophile. Well, I'm going to go ahead and not take so much faith in that analysis. Curse you, Frood. You perverted old man. I vigorously shake my head, letting the memories of the nightmare I just had fade into the air. Though they say that you will naturally come to forget a dream after a short stint of time, the fact that a lot of bad dreams stick to the cerebral cortex and you're unable to forget is the aberration of the human mind. Recovering from the trauma suffered from my nightmare, little by little, I lift my head to find. Ooh, she's sleeping. The windowsill is a picturesque setting with the gentle rays of the sun beam through it. Turning my attention downwards, there's me and +1 mermaid in a futon. The +1 mermaid, she's sleeping with such a peaceful expression on her face. Man, this is nuts. I try awakening my half-awake brain to calmly analyze the situation. At this rate, I am certain that our mermaid here is going to wake up in approximately 5.77 seconds, shriek at the top of her lungs, and slap me right across the face. Isn't that something? Never would have guessed that I'd be able to perfectly see through the future. Even though actually premonitions are nothing more than results derived from profiling and situational analysis. Whatever. I've got my conclusion, so I'll put the futon covers over me and go back to sleep again. Snap! Eon's eyes are snap open. She wastes no time in starting a staring contest. This time, I won't give in without a fight. We stare at one another tensely from inside the bedding. Little by little, Eon's cheeks start turning a faint shade of red. With the two of us composed, I ask her the line that I just have to ask after waking up in the same futon. Do you remember last night? See, look there. I read the future like a book. Though to be accurate, she slaps me with her tail, not her hand. It's still the same color at the end. Hey. Can you explain why you have to start the morning with slapping me out of the stratosphere? Preferably 50 words or less. The futon lays upturned, stacks upon stacks of books, and my glasses lie scattered across the room here and there. It had been so neat and tidy in here, yet in a drop of a hat, it's a disaster area. Why do things have to be this way so early in the morning? Huh? Is she asking why she and I were sleeping in the same futon? Fix your communication skills, lady. If I weren't your childhood friend, I'd have no way of comprehending that sorry excuse for a sentence. Man. Analogical reasoning from a scientific analysis is needed in order to parse Eon's language. Don't you remember you rolled in while you were sleeping? While you were tossing in your sleep, maybe even intentionally. Eon ruffles her fins and falls back. I'm not sure if it's from her sharp fins touching against the futon, but I can hear a tearing sound. She's not showing any signs of being in pain, so it doesn't seem like her fins are torn, which means my futon is. Before she damages my futon beyond repair, I decide to interrupt her. We may have been sleeping in the same futon a moment ago, but that was the futon I laid out, which means whether it was naturally or unintentionally, it wasn't my doing, it was yours. You're the culprit here. How's that for shocking turnabout? Well, no need for legal measures now, right? Eon stays silent for a minute, reeling from the shock. I see. The truth shows itself. The truth is here, and it's here to stay. What did you say? Her tail slices through the air directly towards me, which is the last thing my eyes see. My consciousness then gradually slips into darkness. I wake up, starting my morning by seeing Eon prepping breakfast. The rice is microwavable, and it's very simple spread consisting of pickled veggies I brought along with me and a side of eggs. No doubt that she made it with the tiny gas stove atop the table. This dining table is literally the ultimate in that old parents are away, so here's the random smattering of food that was in the house kind of trope. That aside. So hey, how did you know that I had brought food with me? So you opened it without my permission, eh? You lousy little fish burglar. Left next to my bag is a trail of wet footprints. Eon was the one rooting through my bag, so why is there a trail of human footprints there? The only organism with feet in this house is me. We've got an early morning mystery. Is country living just that rife with mysteries? I've come back to my house in the country and I get made breakfast. I mean, it's nothing to complain about. Yeah, this is the best breakfast when you're feeling too lazy. I twist my glasses back to normal after being bent at an unprecedented angle, putting them on. Hold up. What in the world happened to my glasses? My head hurts. Why is she so surprised? What's wrong? Did something happen? She shakes her head with a tremendous amount of force. It's far too suspicious, but whatever. It's no big deal. So I'll just not worry about it. After wrapping up breakfast, I decide to take a nice stroll through the quiet country roads. My hometown being as barely populated as it is, there are really not a ton to do here. Granted, not a bad thing considering my original design in coming here was to focus on my studies and refresh myself. No good. I can't muster up the will to do anything right now. I'm already not doing anything as it is, but now I have an even stronger, more active urge to do absolutely nothing. Although, Eon is following me. Why are you coming along? You know, I'm not saying you can't, but there's a more fundamental issue at hand. How do you intend on coming along? By hopping. You're going to scrape off your entire tail, you know. Give it a try. She whacks her tail against the ground, quickly propelling herself up, and then... wham! She lands, flat on her face. Right. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt here. She had the same physical impact as landing on your feet, after all. I mean, a face is as good as feet, right? Well... I see. I suppose old maxims are just a product of bygones past in the end, huh? Humans really do need to live in the moment after all. The ambition to move forward unbound by the past is the driving force behind living in these times. Therefore, we must believe in science rather than maxims of the past. 3 cheers for science! Ah, you think so? I slowly approach Eon, presenting my hand to her. This is a reconciliation of someone who loves the past and someone who lives in the present. Next door Granny. Next door Grandpa. They got little hearts on them. A couple watches our reconciliation with interest. It's the old married couple that lives next door from my house, with the apple tree in their yard. The same couple that I said my hellos to yesterday. The mermaid is out of the bag. The country tradition of living with your door always open is full of faults in terms of protecting your privacy. What should I do? Eon is fluttering gesture tail around while hiding behind me. Hey, quit that. Boy, the ship is already sailed on this one. Maybe I should explain to them it's some hip new swimsuit that's all the rage in the city. That's no good to do, son. Pardon? She fell so You should help her get up right away. Don't dawdle now. What are you talking about? Kids nowadays are so full of energy they don't know what to do with it. She'll get up lickety-split. You're one to talk, not getting up in the morning. Give me a break, I'm getting old. I'll be right there with you till death do us part, so don't you worry about that. Oh, that's so? Oh, honey bun. They're getting lovey-dovey and annoying. By the way, who might that young lady be? It's that girl that Hiroto-kun brought with him, isn't it? A bride-to-be? We're just getting in the way, so let's make ourselves scarce, honey bun. Yes, let's. Without the elderly and satisfied couple take their leave. The heck, guys? They don't seem to be concerned about the mermaid collapsed on their neighbor's veranda. Is it that famous dignity and composure that of country old folks? No panicking no matter what happens? At any rate, the elderly nowadays sure get hot and heavy, don't they? Yep, the married couple next door with the apple tree. I think we snuck in with you and got scolded. The couple wasn't so old back then, though. Middle-aged at best. She still remembers that? She's the type to hold a grudge. No, you're misunderstanding. There is a reason for that, and there are times in every man's life where he has to run away. No. My apologies. Please forgive me for that. This is why people have to make sure things square when they, if you just leave it be, someone will come along to dig it up later, guaranteed. However, that couple, the two of them don't remember Eon at all. Even though when I say my hellos to them yesterday, they remembered me. This village has been an old folks' home ever since we were kids. In fact, the only kids here are me and Eon. We would get into loads of mischief as a married duo, yet it's odd that they only remember me, not Eon. While you're at it, be surprised about the mermaid tale, darn it. I'll pass it off as adults being up to ignoring things, seeing as how they're probably not going senile just yet. I wonder why they didn't notice you, Eon. Oh, don't make me laugh. Look at that tail of yours. You have so much of an impression that Claude Monet would be screaming bonjour at you. Wait, you think that her tail was so weird that it didn't catch their attention or something? If so, that's unfortunate. Even though Eon remembers the elderly neighbor couple from her youth extremely well, she can't get them to remember her. On the one hand, Eon loves the past, but on the other, the past seems to have disliked for Eon. Anyway, that isn't the essential matter here. Right now, I need to look for a solution to my current situation. I have to devise a way to walk out with this giant mermaid on my back. Now what should I do? What should I do here? Go out with Eon on my back, use a cart, or go out and abandon Eon? Use a freaking cart. No, take her on my back. Eon. I get on all fours in front of Eon. I consider Eon's figure and the effects of gravity to devise the easiest way to position my body to carry a mermaid on my shoulders. But I'm actually not entirely sure whether this has a degree of practicality or not. Please, step on me. I mean, get on.
あ
I lower my body so that Eon can get on easier. I have a good view of that cracked concrete surface below. Ah, an ant. It has a grain of rice in its mouth as it happily walks past. From the ant's perspective, it must be like a life form of the size of a world, or a cosmos, or even a god, stooped over and staring at them. Nevertheless, this ant is steadily doing its job without weathering a bit. I don't give a good damn about the world. I'm doing my own thing down here, is what I can practically hear it shouting, like an accomplished ant it is. If you're wondering what's the point I'm trying to make, it's that enough time has passed since I've gotten on all fours that I could laud an ant as a hero. Is she getting on or what? Why aren't you getting on? Eek? Eek what? Seems to be a sound that mermaids make when they feel biological rejection. Why is she rejecting my back so much? Give me a scientific reason why.
恥ずかしい
Now she's embarrassed about it. Your expression is telling me a different story. Your actions are scientifically contradictory. You tell me this after you got carted all over creation on my back yesterday? She's as expressionless as ever, but her face is starting to get red. So I'd venture that she is really embarrassed. I have to give high praise to the superior quality of the human skin on her face. Well, not her being human aside, that is. At any rate, I'm in kind of a bind. If Eon doesn't want to be carried piggyback, I'm a million times more embarrassed over here. In which case, you look like you were having a comfy ride on my back yesterday night, so what's the big deal now? I assert myself. Maybe I should have chose the cart.
昨日はその
Yesterday, what? Just come out and say what?
他に方法がなかったから
Ah, I see. I push up my glasses with my middle finger. So what you're saying is that unless there's no other way, you don't want to come in contact with me? Right? Boy, that hurts.
そういうわけじゃない
Eon refutes in a flustered panic. Her tone quickens in pace. Does she normally talk slow on purpose or something? Eon acts bashful for a little while. She shakes her head and proceeds to talk while she keeps her eyes averted.
ヒロトが辛そうだから
Oh. Huh? You're crazy, Light. Don't sweat it. Eon suddenly begins hitting her head against a tree. What the heck are you doing, girl? To think that Eon would harm our persimmon tree, the same tree that bears tons of persimmons every year. You're not making any sense. Anyways, get on. She looks like she's going to avert her eyes again, but she actually lifts her head. Her shiny and glittering tail wags about. You actually do want to ride piggyback, don't you? Or at least that's the impression I get from her movements. Her tail's expressing her emotions for her. Hehehe. Leave it to the body to be forthright.
本当に平気
I'll be A-okay.
だけど
This seems like a prime opportunity to say something that would reassure her. That's right. Oh, I remember reading a book where it had a section called Words You Have to Say When Your Partner is Refusing Your Help. Come on, Eon. Break this broad back of mine. Can't wait to get squished by you. Huh? Intimidation tactics? Is she using intimidation tactics? In the end, Eon gets on my back and we go on a walk. I feel like the entire village is going to start recognizing me as that suspicious high school boy who walks around carrying a mermaid at this point. Huh? Something is odd here. Whoa. Sounds like we're running. Gah! The sun is beating down. Gravity is overwhelming. Not even 10 minutes elapsed since I started walking with Eon on my back before I lose all strength in my body. My knees buckle and I collapse. Halfway on the slope that leads to the reservoir, everything fades to white and I burn out. I sit up and I look below the slope. Ooh, I can finally see the reservoir. The serene sight cleanse my soul. Yeah, right, damn it, she's so freaking heavy. Just which part of her did I not account for? Maybe it was... Eon herself is light, however, because of the balance of her weight being thrown completely off by her lower half being completely fish, it's probably ended up draining my stamina several times faster than usual. Goes to show you that balance is just as crucial as power. I can't just willy-nilly grab and squeeze like I'm carrying a piece of luggage either. Plus, her and her scales are slippery. Oh, Newton, please give me the strength. But how? You'll bust up your face. Go for it. Oh, I figured that happened. Don't cry. Eon gets herself up immediately. Unless I use the momentum to get my second win, I'm going to have a tough time ahead. In sports, people often experience shortness of breath, chest discomfort, and headaches around the first half, which makes them want to call it off. This is referred to as the dead zone. However, once you're past the dead zone, the pain negates. Things finally become manageable, and your will to keep going with the game rejuvenates. This is called a second wind. You stop panicking, start breathing right, your heart rate stabilizes, and any arrhythmia gets eliminated, allowing you to perform at your peak. It comes to you quicker the faster you're going. This has a deep connection with breathing, and it's a passive skill that every person has inside of them. It's pretty similar to what young boys in their sensitive years of puberty go through during middle school gym class, an awakening to the big picture, if you will. Ah, second wind! I cover up my shame and scream the word out like a technique name, but I'm not getting any sort of response. Damn, what gives? I think until I look at Eon. Eon rolls down the slope of the hill. She's rolling pretty well for herself. Wait, that's not the point. What are you doing? I lose control of myself and run down the hill. Thank you, second wind. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to end this video here. Can I save? Yes, I can. There we go, nice and saved. So yeah, I'm having lots of fun with this game. I will continue this at a later time. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. I am also streaming on Twitch, so if that's your fancy, go ahead and check me out there. My name is Sarah2Kawaii on there as well. And I'll see you guys next time.